Hello, my people. Hola, mi gente. Welcome to another episode, otro episodio de Hoy en Día TV. I'm your host and producer, Yessi Rodriguez. Welcome into the stage, my amazing co-host, Dr. Z, and you're the actionist, KD Barton Spirit.
Hey,
Hello, sis. How you doing?
doing good, doing good. Even though it's kind of gloomy outside right now and it's raining and stuff, it's a beautiful day still. It's still a beautiful day, right? The beautiful day is like all about mindset. So it's beautiful. How are you doing?
That's a good point. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'm doing wonderful. I'm great. I'm blessed. I get to celebrate another birthday. Yay. So that's always a blessing. And in my transitional phase. And thank you. Thank you. Yes. So I'm definitely looking forward to what this new year and this new age bracket that I'm entering now without saying too much. Without saying too much, right? Give my age away. But
Right?
overall, I'm
You know
doing
that
wonderful.
need to know, right? So yeah, but it's good. But happy birthday. I'm loving the jacket. You got the bling on, looking good. Okay, birthday girl.
Thank you, thank you. And I apologize in advance. I think with the gloomy weather is causing some glitches on my end for technical glitches. So hopefully it doesn't look too bad on your end. And for the viewers and listeners, hopefully it'll stay intact, right? This weather needs to
Yeah.
just go somewhere. Even though, like we said, it's about mindset. But if it's starting to mess up our technology, then it needs to go somewhere else.
Cool beans. Cool
But
beans.
yeah, so tell me, how was your weekend since the last time I saw you? Anything fun that you did, or what you got going on?
Yeah. The weekend's been really good. Just spending time with my baby boy and everything. You know, he's out. He does year-round school, so they get their break. So he's tracked out. So just trying to find fun things for him to do. We do a run club starting tomorrow. Ooh, the wind is very high out here tonight. But yeah, so he starts his run club on tomorrow, and we went to the jump park. Of course, we had a blast there. Actually, got a free little smoothie, so it was really nice. A lot of times, like, so the jump part that he likes is all the way out in Apex, and it's like about 40-45 minutes for me, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to drive out that far, but it is a super nice jump park, and they've done some great additions. But like, you sign up, they say, oh, get the membership because it's cheaper, but I never really want the membership because it's like I'm not going to drive out there every week for him to jump and stuff, because it's just like too far for me. But this girl, she was there, her name was Michelle, and she was like, no, I got you, because I say every time I sign up I try to cancel this membership and you guys keep charging my card, charging my card. And I don't want that to happen. So she's like, no, you haven't met me yet. She was such a good salesperson. She's probably only like 17, 18, maybe. I don't know. But so she got me hooked up. She gave us free socks. She gave us like the free little slushy. It was a good day. And then she made sure that my membership was canceled before I left. So I was like, yay. So shout out to Michelle. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. What about your weekend? Can you hear me, Yessie? I think we got kicked off there, y'all. We're having some bad weather here in our parts, but there's like a tornado watch that's out. So we are trying to just make it do what it does. So there's a little bit of a connectivity issue kind of going on, but I'm sure she's going to be popping back on here any minute. So any of you guys out there got little kiddos? I got this one straight hair that's kind of going around in my face. Okay, you're back. All right. I was asking the audience, like, anybody out there with kiddos, right? They do these jump parks and all that kind of stuff. And how do you all like them? And, that kind of thing. So
Awesome. Well, I will say I do love the hair though. Very pretty. I love the curls. You look fabulous as
thank
usual. So
you.
definitely that's a good look. I love that look for sure. And I know before I had to log off real quick and log back on, you asked what I did. So yeah, I actually had an eventful weekend because after the last episode that we did last week, the following day actually I went on tour to Philly with the National Alzheimer's Association, and we did the unforgettable stage play for the 20th time. So I've been touring with them since summer of 2022, and I was pregnant with my son. And so I was on stage with a big belly, and so it was great throughout the transition just to see the years in 26 from a theater standpoint. It was bittersweet, right? I get it. You know, it's one of those things come to an end, but I know that God has even more amazing things in store. And it was great to network, to just be in that presence in that moment. And it was so sweet because they gave us a wrap party to thank us for everything that we've done and just for positively impacting the community, because this stage play really touched a lot of people. And I was able to capture some behind the scenes that do plan to post soon once I have a chance to edit it. But nevertheless, it was beautiful. It was great. I was blessed to be there and to have this opportunity. So yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So good. So good. And probably now it's like, oh, we don't see her now with the belly, you know. So it's like a whole new person.
That is cool.
You know, that's yes. That's doing such a really good work, you know, getting the information out there about Alzheimer's, because so many people are dealing with this, so many families. And just to know that people like you all are bringing awareness to this disease that is very debilitating. You know, it's one thing, you know, it's one thing to have any sort of disease, but Alzheimer's, where, you know, your family member, they don't remember you. Like, it really breaks your heart. You know what I'm saying? Or just kind of keep replaying the same, you know, story over and over. It really, because it's basically, I've heard someone say this about Alzheimer's and dementia even. They say it's like you suffer two deaths, like the family does. So the person, whether it's a family, you know, a mom or dad or somebody, parent, because they're wasting away, you know, mentally, and they can't remember their children and stuff. And so it's like a death to the children, and they grieve. And then you have when the parent or whomever, they do die, and then you have the actual. So it's like, they call it like two deaths. I've heard some people say that, because you got to kind of wrap your head around and how to deal with all of that stuff. So it's really good that you all are out there doing the work and getting the awareness out. It's super important. Good job. Very good job. I got this one straight hair that keeps like, it's like, ay.
Thank you. And yeah, you're right. You know, the Alzheimer's or Alzheimer's, the dementia does really have a heavy toll on the family, but also on the caregiver. And that was what the main important message is with this the theater stage play that we did, is understanding the signs, early detection. And then also there was a fact that was shared within the stage play that only 3% of people of color, our people, get tested, because historical concerns with past studies and clinical trials that have negatively affected our community. Now, 2026, there is no trust, right? And so how do we break that barrier, break that gap? Because so much has changed, right? And so that was another message that we were trying to project and make sure that people were aware, is what happened then. Yes, that was horrible, catastrophic. And for those who don't know, I highly encourage you to go and do your research on the clinical trials that our people had to endure. It was pretty tough. But then fast forwarding to 2026, a lot has evolved, a lot has changed. And we won't know if these trials or medicines or et cetera work for us if people don't get tested or don't pay attention to the signs of early detection. So, yeah.
Wow. Do you know some of the tests that they do for you to go and get tested for Alzheimer's? Like, I mean, we go get our checkups and stuff, but even in some of our checkups that I've even noticed, you know, it's just like kind of the standard, like the baseline. You know, I didn't know, like for myself, like having a dermatology checkup every year, right? As a part of my physical every year, you know what I'm saying? Checking my skin head to toe, front and back, you know what I'm saying? Looking for anything, because our skin, right? Even though it's melanated, right, we can still have cancers and things of that nature. And so just being able to detect those types of things. So do you know the type of testing that they do to determine if a person is like in the early stages or late stages of Alzheimer's?
That's a great question. Now, I know a lot of it has to do with visiting your neurologist, so individuals who might be concerned. But the main keys that caregivers need to just pay attention to, the main traits, is if somebody forgets their keys, but not just once, right? It happens once or twice, but often. Or forgetting things that they loved to do at a certain time frame. Just their patterns change. The way they communicate change. Or even when they're bringing up someone from the past that we all know passed 10, 20, 30 years ago, but in their mind is that person is still there. And they're saying, oh, so-and-so is in the kitchen, and we're looking like, no, there's nobody there, right? Those are key factors to really keep in mind, like, something's not right, right? So just paying attention to those main symptoms. But I did some research, and it does say early screening and cognitive tests. There's a MMSE called the Mini Mental State Examination that tests memory, attention, language, and orientation. The neurologist typically asks about 5 to 10 minutes worth of questions, but it can go longer depending on how the person's doing or if they have an inconclusive test, etc. We also have the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, which is more sensitive for early stage Alzheimer's and tests executive functions, recall, and focus. And then the Mini-Cog, which is simple 3-word recall and clock drawing test, which is interesting because I remember doing a clock drawing when I was a kid. So it's interesting that now they're correlating it to Alzheimer's and part of the research or test that they do for early detection. Also, medical eval and lab tests can also be done. So doctors rule out other causes that can mimic Alzheimer's by doing blood tests. And they're looking for vitamin B12 deficiency, thyroid issues, infections, electrolyte imbalances are just a few. Also, brain imaging, which is very important because the MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, detects brain shrinkage, especially with hippocampus, rules out tumors or strokes, and looking at pretty much how brain it should be compared to how it is. So it's really interesting. There's also the biomarker testing, which is the newest of them all. So it's a cerebrospinal fluid test done via spinal tap and measures amyloid. These are some interesting names. I'm trying to do my best to say them here. Amyloid beta and tau proteins. And there's a lot more that you all can look with regards to tests, but early warning signs to watch for is memory loss that disrupts daily life, difficulty planning or solving problems, confusion with time or place, trouble finding words or changes in your mood or personality. They say mild cognitive impairment, called MCI for short, which is early stage or not full dementia, right? Or probable Alzheimer's disease that's based on the symptoms and the test and the results that return. And also confirmed Alzheimer's, often after biomarker or imaging supports come back. And so pretty much the real talk here is early detection is key. It allows for treatment earlier. It helps with planning and support, opens access to clinical trials and newer therapies. And the clinical trials do vary. And just be mindful that you have to be open to it. Nobody's forcing you to do it or should be pressuring you. You should be open to do it. This is something, if God puts it in your heart to say, hey, I want to do this clinical trial, go for it, right? And caregiver support as well. That's very important. Similar to how there's that old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Once we start aging and progressing, it does still take a village to even raise an elder, simply because now they have a lot of needs, similar to how the children are, right? Now they have doctor's appointments, or they may not be mobile to move around, or just different things that family support is definitely going to be needed. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was great information, and definitely getting those checks. And I've had some neurology tests done. So it's probably because my TBIs that I've suffered, over the years, just being in the military, but doing some of those cognitive tests. And I tell everybody, I'd be like, I don't have Alzheimer's, but I got sometimes, because sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't. I'm just like, what day is it? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But no, that's great. It's great that we do have some tools out there, some diagnostic tools to be able to test people and get in the know. I just want to, encourage everyone to go and get checked. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the age range is, for people to go. But if you start doing, begin to see some mental decline in whomever, right? Go get checked. I believe it has so much to do with our food like a lot of these different diseases and things of that nature. And that's why exercise, y'all, eating right is preventative medicine. When you exercise, for us ladies and men too, right, it builds collagen. Do you know that? Like, it will build collagen. That's going to keep you looking young and spry and happy and all those things. So and it's important to, for anyone that has a spine, that's every human, right? We got bones, 206 in the body, right? So weight-bearing exercises, you know what I'm saying? Getting out, stretching, going out, walking around your neighborhood. It's all about prevention. Prevention is key. But a lot of people kind of sit on their little humps and they won't do anything. And then when the disease and the ailments begin to happen, then we want a quick fix, right? We want a magic pill, and it doesn't work that way. So as much stress and trauma that we put on our bodies from our day-to-day, from whether it's lifting furniture or pushing stuff or carrying babies on our hips, you know what I'm saying? All of these things you have to take into consideration to make sure that you're taking care of your body and that you are doing things properly, right? So prevention, exercise, and eating right is prevention, and that is key, and that will decrease a lot of these diseases, right, that we have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad you shared that, because I do agree with you. It says, before I share my thoughts about what you just expressed, for those who want more information about Alzheimer's awareness, visit the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org. There's a lot of helpful tool information. They have a 24/7 helpline at 1-800-272-3900. Also, they have local chapters. So if you or a loved one, you're concerned that maybe you all could be affected, whether it be you, a family member. To my understanding, there's no age. The main thing is early detection. And if you're seeing symptoms and you're concerned and you're kind of like, go get checked. It doesn't hurt to get checked, right? The sooner, the better. And so that's my spiel on that. And then going back to what you were sharing about working out. Yes, you are right. Working out is definitely important. It helps us stay young, stay healthy, stay whole. And I do get it. A lot of people are like, hey, I'm so busy, I can't go to the gym. And that's okay, because I'm one of those. But guess what? I love some YouTube. So I have my two go-to. I go to Jalad, Bodies in Motion, Total Body Sculpt. Trust me, he will work you out. I did a workout like a couple times last week, and my whole body was sore for days. And I see the difference. And also Billy Blanks with Taibo and kickboxing. Ooh, those are my two go-tos. I highly recommend those. You're going to feel your body burn. And also, people can't always leave the house, because a lot of the work that I do outside of going to travel for like my theater productions or plays or filming, acting, modeling, etc., I have to stay in the house for other stuff, my business stuff, right? And so working out at home is key. I have a little treadmill that my honey for me for one of the holidays. I turn YouTube, go under Jalad, Billy Blanks, and it also saves money in gym membership. And a person like me, I kind of have a phobia for the gym because there's a lot of smelly people. And I have a very low tolerance for like foul smells. Like my face starts to show it, right? And so it's one of those things where it's like, I have a hypersensitive nose where I smell things that I don't want to smell. And then I ask people like, hey, do you smell that? And they're like, no, I don't smell it. I'm like, oh, it's just me. Lovely. Okay. And so I say that to say that although I appreciate the gym for what it is, I'm one of those that I have to take the classes. I can't just go on the treadmill or do a bunch of stuff around. Like, people that don't smell the greatest. And I can't, right? People sweat. Please, people, if you're going to do that, if you're going to work out and sweat, it's okay. That's normal. That's human behavior. But put something fragrance that's going to help you smell better. I mean,
you're right. You're right. There. You're right. The gym carries a lot of germs. And you know what I really like? I like the sauna. So I really love going to the sauna. I don't like, I would prefer to do my exercises at home. And what I think I'm going to invest in, I did invest in a personal trainer, and you don't have to have a gym membership with that. I did get a gym membership, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I do like the gym. But it's more convenient to do it at home for me. And really, you can just work out with your body weight. You know what I'm saying? But I am thinking about investing in a total gym, because one of my rooms in my home, we turned it into like a little mini gym. But with the total gym, you can do the weights and all the stuff, you can make it. So I was just like, I'm thinking about doing that. I did like put mirrors up and all that stuff so I can see myself working out, seeing the guns, y'all, see the guns, okay? Right. And so y'all, I got a good report today, even with my personal trainer. So I've been losing body fat, yay, and I've been gaining muscle, yay. And we're not worried about the numbers on the scale, we're not worried about that stuff. But and I feel better. I feel so much better. So I do like it, but I definitely need like the weights, on there, because we need that for our bones, like I was saying. But I like the whole home gym, and you can do stuff with bands and your body weight, and those videos are just like perfect, right? And you can get a total body workout and be good and save money. I love saving money. So
me too. Me too. So trust me, one day where you're up for it, select July, either total body sculpt or bodies in motion. You're gonna feel it. Like your body's gonna be sore for days, and I'm vouching for it.
Now you're
I've done it plenty of times. Huh? Go ahead.
You're saying Jalad. Is that like how do you spell that, Jalad, for the viewers? How do we, because I've never heard of Jalad.
Gilad. Gilid. So he's actually a personal, like his career. I don't know if he was like a wrestler or something. He's from like the 80s and 90s, but he became a personal trainer out in Hawaii. And he started making these home workout videos called Total Body Sculpt or Bodies in Motion. And they're all filmed in Hawaii. But they're amazing. Like, and you invest in like light weights and bands, like you said, your body weight. But the key is the way. I like how he motivates the people and how it's like routine based, like kind of like an aerobic exercise. Because I really miss those types of classes and concepts, like the aerobics type of style where you do 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of fun. Once you do it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Hey, maybe you and I can jump on like a face chat call. We'll do it together one day or something.
Yes, and we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it. I'm all down for that. Absolutely. That'll be fun. I love that stuff. I love it.
Yes. Well, we have our special guest waiting behind the scenes. So let's go on a quick sponsor break and we'll be right back with Oyandia TV. Don't go anywhere.
A bold builder of people, purpose, and platforms, Girls with Gigs helps high performers and those desiring to achieve more shift mindsets and activate purpose. Whether it's career or leadership development, personal branding, or knowing your worth, in the job market, transformation has never been closer, because this is where purpose meets action and dreams become destiny. Book your free consultation today at www.girlswithgigs.com.
Dream, explore, discover with Nadine's Travel Oasis. Your next adventure is just a booking away. From breathtaking beaches to vibrant cityscapes, we handle the details so you can make the memories. Luxury, leisure, or last-minute getaways, we've got you covered. Book today and let Nadine's Travel Oasis take you places.
Are you looking for the perfect shirt for that special occasion? At Collective Custom Wear, we bring your vision to life. From weddings, family reunions, anniversaries, or casual outing with friends, express yourself with your unique style and leave a memorable mark. Order now. Our custom shirts are designed just for you.
Yeah, shout out to our amazing sponsors. We have some more sponsor commercials coming down later on in the segment, so definitely stay tuned for that. But hey, like I always say, if you don't know your purpose, hit up my girl, Dr. CC, the Actionist, with Girls with Gigs and Inspired for Purpose. She will get you right. She will get you aligned. Yes. Travel that you have in a bucket list, right? You wanted to go to, let's say, Indonesia or Africa or wherever, Australia, I don't know. Reach out to Nadine's Travel Oasis. She will get you right. And also, if you have a birthday coming up like moi, right? I have my birthday this week here. Also, anniversary or a bridal party or whatever. Outing with friends. It doesn't matter. You need custom shirts, hit up Collective Custom Wear. Reach out to us. We got you and we will get you right. Good quality shirts. Look, this is one of the shirts from Collective Custom Wear. Cece's wearing one of the shirts from Collective Custom Wear. Custom to the Oyan. And hey, I mean, Cece got some for her Inspire for Purpose brand, right? So yes, reach out to these sponsors. They will get you right. All right. So Cece, invite our guests in whenever you are ready. The spotlight is on you. to read our guest.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am so excited to introduce our next guest. I actually met this young lady in a class, in a business plan class, and she was totally amazing, just a breath of fresh air. And so, I want to introduce to you all Watricia Shuler. She's a financial well-being coach with a background in entrepreneurship, financial management, and education. She's a native of Garner, North Carolina, and she brings over 11 years of knowledge and experience in owning and operating a small business, which is actually called the artist block, right? We're going to talk about that, okay? It's going to be so good. All right. Furthermore, she's a community oriented with a passion for economic development and financial literacy, serving over 13 years as a college professor, y'all. She was like in the whole cinema and television arts. That's what she did as a professor. I couldn't believe it. She like totally rocked my world. She's down with like hip hop and rap and all the stuff. It was amazing. She literally brought that into our financial class, and it just really brought it to life. Everybody loved it, right? So she did that. So she, college professor for 13 years. Her life mission is to empower individuals through education and providing access to tools and resources. So without further ado, let's welcome Watricia. Woo, woo, woo.
Yes, thank you. Hi, thank you for having me.
There she is. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. We are so happy to have you here. So glad you were able to make time to be on the show. Totally want to talk about everything that you've done. I was sharing with the audience, just a little bit about what you've done. You're very well diverse in so many things. And so we are going to get into that. But before we do, Yessie, let's turn it over to you to ask that number one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Go for it.
Of course, yeah. So thank you and welcome to Hoy en Dia TV. We are truly thrilled and excited to have you here as our guest. And the $1 million intro question that I usually like to ask is, in a nutshell, who do you say you are?
I am a mother. I'm an aunt. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a educator. I am God's child. And I am a person that's come here to do my thing. You know what I mean? The way I do it.
I love that. Cece, go ahead. You could start with the questions.
Yeah, so let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. So I met you, here in NC, North Kakalaki, right? And she was doing her thing. It was in a, like I said, it was a business workshop, and where with the company that she works with, they partner, and it's to teach, entrepreneurs, right, about how to create these business plans, because it's more than just about, like she said in class, like going to the bank and be like, I need some money. You know what I'm saying? I need $100,000. And like, well, for what? To start my business? Well, and you don't have anything outside of that, like what are your projections and all of these things, and people are like, no, I just give me the money. And it doesn't work like that. Right? So no, she had an experience with someone like that, and it was too funny, but we see it like oh so often, right? And so in the financial class that we had, making our business plan, we literally had, everybody had to, because you had to do that. That was a requirement to graduate. I love that part, right? Because it helps you stay on track, and it helps you walk away from the class having something done. That's what I'm about. So you enter the actions, right? Let's make it happen. Let's get it done. So we were able to do that. I just love though how you were able to bring in your being a professor, right? This collegiate professor. And you brought that into the classroom, but you brought it in with the areas of the cinematography, right? Television, all the arts that you did. I want you just to share a little bit about that. Tell us, one, how you got into the field of becoming this professor, right? Teaching these college kids in this field, and then how you now kind of transition into finance, because it's a little different, right? And then also being a business owner. That was a lot. Okay. That was a lot.
Yes, it's all good. It's all good. So with the professor in particular, so how I got into that, it's a very interesting story. So 2008, I was living in DC at the time, and I hadn't gone to grad school yet, but my roommate that I was there with, who's also my best friend, she was just finishing up grad school. So we decided that we were superstars, and we moved to New York. And again, it was 2008. So this is when the recession hit, right? So we didn't really have a plan of action to superstardom when we did it, but hey, we were going to do it anyway. Long story short, we couldn't find jobs because it was a recession. We ended up renting a room, and we started running out of money, and we ended up basically sleeping in my car during that time. And we were sleeping in the car in Secaucus, New Jersey. I woke up one morning and the license plate in the car in front of me said Georgia. So I told her, that's a sign, we got to go to Georgia. She said, okay. And I was 23, or no, I was 24 at the time. So that also plays a part in it too. Anyway, we drove to Georgia. It was a billboard. We got a hotel. It was a billboard beside the hotel that said, go to school to get your master's and your doctorate. And I told her, that's a sign. I need to go to school and get my master's because obviously I don't know what I'm doing and I need some help. And so that's what inspired me to actually go to grad school and get my master's and become a teacher. Because I said earlier, God's child. I believe in the creator. And God was speaking to me a lot during that time. And one of the things God told me was to become a teacher so I could teach people not to do what I did. So I ended up going to grad school at Howard. I got my master's. I actually got a job teaching at St. Aug in Raleigh while I was completing my thesis in the master's program at Howard in Washington, D.C. Because I'm from Raleigh, so I wanted to move back home. And I got the job contingent upon me graduating within a year. And I did it. So that was my very first job with St. Aug. And then from there, I ended up teaching at Shaw. I became full-time at Shaw. So that was my first time. I was a full-time assistant professor there. And then that began my journey as a professor. And the film part came into place because I'm an artist, naturally. I can draw anything I see. I can paint. I did music as a kid. And then I did do, I had a camcorder in high school. So I was like the kid who record everything. Like bring my camcorder to school, record everything. And then I would go home and connect the camcorder to 2 VCRs. And that's how I would edit at that time. So I was always really into media. And I felt like for me, filmmaking was the highest form of artistic expression for me. So that's what led me down that path. And granted, when I got started, it was more artistic focus and experimental artistic films. When I got to Howard, they taught me the traditional form of filmmaking and storytelling and narrative and things of that nature. So that was the part when it came to school. So the last university I taught at was Elon University in Elon, North Carolina, and I was a professor of cinema and television arts there. I also taught graphic design courses as well. So, that dealt with teaching people Photoshop, how to create flyers, posters, even with like the backgrounds, the YouTube banners, things of that nature. I could do all of that. And then I also would do some of those skills with my business as well. So in connection to the business, I come from a lineage of entrepreneurs. So my mother is a beautician. She owns her own book of business. My father and his father owned his own construction business. And then my grandmother, which is my mom's mother, her and her sisters own the Dog Room Salon in Raleigh. So it was in my blood to be an entrepreneur. As a kid, I was a kid selling like lollipops in school, or candy in school. My dad was in a basketball league, so me and my sister set up a concession stand and we would sell snacks. I was always doing things like that. I sold burnt CDs back in the day. I airbrush t-shirts, sold that back in the day. So I did a lot of things throughout the years. And my business partner, we actually met in undergrad at A&T. And she was an art major. I was a mass communications major, but I would take a bunch of art classes because I enjoy art. So even back then, she would talk about owning an art supply store, and she talked about it for years. So we got older. She was still talking to me about it, and I'm like, "That's really cool. We should put a coffee shop in there because I love coffee." And she's like, "Okay." And then years later, when I was actually teaching at Shaw, she called me and said that it was a art supply store in Greensboro called Adams Bookstore went out of business, and that was the last like authentic, independently owned art supply store. And she was like, so it's time to open an artist blog. And I said, okay. And that was January 2014. We legalized the business by April. We found the space in April. We built it out over the summer. My dad does construction, so he came and built the space out for us, and we opened in August. And so we're 12 years old this year with the artist blog. Yeah. So yes, we actually morphed. So we started out as an art supply store, coffee shop. And we did do events a little bit, but not the way we do them now. So the first year we opened in August of 2014. By May of 2015, we were dead, no sales, because we didn't realize it because we didn't know what we were doing. But all of our clientele were college students, and they all went home for the summer. So we had no money for like 3 weeks, and we were like freaking out, like, what are we going to do? So I found this business accelerator program, which at the time was called Triad Startup. It's now called Launch Greensboro. And I entered us into that program. And the director at that time said, well, where do you make your most money? And we said we made it from when we would do like open mics. And he said, we need to increase your programming. And that's what caused us to morph into the event space that we are today. So we have a full bar there. And we do artistic focused events like open mics, poetry nights, artist showcase, stuff like that. And we also run our space out. Yes. I feel like it was a third question.
Oh my goodness, this is such a beautiful story. I didn't know all that, but oh my goodness, I am like mind blown. That is so awesome. So do you guys still sell like coffee in the shop too? Like coffee by day,
No.
Alcohol by night? Like
no, we just
No more
alcohol. That
coffee.
used to be our motto, actually. Coffee by day, alcohol by night. That used to be our motto. But our clientele didn't drink coffee. So they didn't come to us for that. They enjoyed the liquor. So we just focused on that.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Man, you guys were so brave to just be like, hey, we're going to go to the Big Apple and we're going to just make it happen. And then, it didn't quite happen, but it did kind of, it was like the precipice for things to begin to happen. And so for you just to walk out your life in that manner, in such faith, just to see a license plate and then like a billboard, you know what I'm saying? And just be like, it's a sign. And then you just followed and God has blessed and you have had just such a diverse, experience, with the education and even now doing like the finance and stuff like that. Cause I so enjoyed your class. Like it was really awesome. It was good. You made everybody laugh. I felt like one big family in there, honestly. Like the people really opened up, they shared and stuff like that. It was always a good time in there. So I commend you on that. And so you say the artist block is located in Greensboro. That's where it's located.
Yes, it's in Greensboro. Yep. Greensboro, North Carolina. Yeah. And so I was going to ask, because I remember the third question was, how did I get into finance? So
yes.
Yes. So I would say, so what happened with that was I got pregnant in 2022 and I had a baby in January 2023. So I was on maternity leave from teaching. And I had already been feeling like the entrepreneurial passion getting stronger and stronger and stronger within me. And I found myself during that time, I started watching CNBC a lot. I'm reading all these business books. I'm studying stocks and I'm doing all these things, but I'm not studying video production and graphic design, which is what I was supposed to be studying. That's what I was teaching. So I was like, I really want to do what I want to do. I don't want to continue in this path of like, I have the ability to do it, but just because I can do it doesn't mean I should do it. And actually, a person who I met during that time told me that. So we had a meeting and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I also started flipping mobile homes in 2021. So I had my own independent business because I have business partners with the Artist Block. And I'm telling her all these things. And she was like, that's great. It just sounds like you have the Midas touch. Whatever you do turns to gold. But just because you should do it, just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. So you need to figure out what it is that you actually really want to do, what you actually really have a passion for. And that also inspired me as well. So I love business. I love finance. Being able to be in that space at all times, that was a part of me transitioning to a position like Operation Hope, because I wanted to have that mindset at all times. I wanted to be able to study it and not feel guilty that I'm studying it all day in a way that I used to feel, because I was supposed to be, again, studying video production and graphic design. So that's what inspired me to transition over to this position. And I think that Operation Hope for me was the perfect blend, because I can bring my gift of education to it, also my love and passion for business and finance into it. Even the days that I was talking to you all about the cinema production and different things, like we did a whole class with marketing about shot sizes and angles and color theory and all this type of stuff, because those things are still relevant within business. People just don't always make the connection. So I think it was all these synergies that were just coming together for me to be able to do that.
That is awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And the good thing is that you're bringing a twist to traditional teaching, right? It's like, I feel like as people progress, the creativity aspect of just teaching in general sometimes gets missed. And it sounds like you nailed it on the spot, especially engaging the class. Cece, you gave good reviews of your class, and just the way that you're sharing and illustrating it, it does sound like it would be a good class, but that's because you use that creative aspect to entertain your people and also educate them. So that's definitely key. You don't want to bore the people and then fall asleep, but they ain't learning nothing, right? So that's great that you were able to nail that. Right. That is beautiful. And so the financial aspect of it, so how did you, because I was following like your timeline with how, what you did in 2008 to now, but how did you jump into the whole financial part of it? Like, tell me more about that. I'm curious to know more about how that came to play.
Yeah, so over the summer, well, I had made up in my mind when I went back to work after maternity leave. I already knew in my mind that I wanted to do business and finance. At first, I was thinking I'm just going to teach it. Like I'm just going to go to the business department and teach in the business department. That's what I was thinking in my head. But I would just started like looking up jobs and things like that, and I ran across a video of John Hope Bryant, who is the founder of Operation Hope. He was on the Breakfast Club, and I'm like, this is really cool. It's a Black guy that's talking about finance, and he's just very like, straight shot, no chaser, and giving that information. I had never seen anybody talk about it in that way before. And so I started researching Operation Hope. I brought his book and read his book, which is also really good. And then I looked online and they were hiring. I'm like, oh, that is so interesting. And they're hiring in Raleigh because I was living in Greensboro at the time. And I wanted to move back to Raleigh because I had that baby and parenting is a real thing. And I needed help with that baby, my family's in Raleigh. So I was like, oh, this is great. So I actually applied for that position, and I applied for another position with an organization called the Small Business Development and Technology Center to be a business coach with them as well. And I had the interviews for both of them in the same week, actually. They both liked me. They both invited me back to a second interview, but I had Operation Hope's second interview first. And they liked me, and like 2 days later, they offered me the position. So I had to make up my mind if I wanted to stay in Greensboro and get the other position, because I already felt like they were going to give it to me too, or go to Raleigh. And I just made that decision to go to Raleigh. So I think the fact that I had already been studying all those things on my own, because they were asking me questions during the interview, like, what do you know about credit? And what do you know about the credit score? And, how do you know about budgeting? All these things, because I have been studying myself, I knew how to answer those questions, even though I didn't go to school for it. Plus, with the Artist Block, I'm the CFO of the Artist Block. So I was always handling the money anyway. That was my thing. So all of that played a part into it as well. So, yeah, I'm the CFO and the COO of the Artist Block. And ironically, I didn't even realize I was going into the field of finance. I don't know what I thought I was doing, but when I got the job, I got invited to a panel, and a guy was like, wow, that's such a big shift. You jumped into the industry of finance. And I was like, you're right. It didn't even occur to me. That's what I jumped into. So, but yes, now I'm very much so aware that I did that,
Yeah. Oh, you're muted, Yessie. You're muted.
Oh, yep, sure am. That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that extra layer of information. So with real life financial education, I feel like there's a big gap with people where they struggle, right? And that I feel like the struggle comes from not really being properly educated when they're growing up, whether it be in school or maybe their own parents just didn't get the proper education. So now the parents can't pour into the children because they don't know that either, right? So it's kind of like a generational curse for most families, not all, but most, right? And so with that in mind, the question that I have for you to start off with, can you break down the main differences between budgeting, saving, and investing in a simple way where these families, whoever's watching, that may be having a similar situation where they're struggling, can really understand, okay, budgeting, saving, investing?
I got them. Yes, that was my son. So anyway, budgeting, saving, investing. Budgeting is being aware of how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out. And why that's important is because you need to know whether or not you can afford the lifestyle that you're currently living. And if you can't afford the lifestyle that you're currently living, it's all good. We just need to figure out what you need to do in order to bring in the amount of income that you need to afford the lifestyle that you're currently living. Of course, people always talk about reducing what you have going on, which I'm an advocate of that too, but I'm also an advocate of living your best life. So if I tell people all the time, when you're creating a budget, write out everything that you do, everything that you want to do, and then let's figure out how to get you the money that you need to live that lifestyle. The other thing is with savings is just being prepared for a rainy day. You never know what's going to happen. Life is funny and short, and tires are expensive. Like, you don't think about that as a kid, but tires are expensive. You know what I mean? Like, and then if you got 2 tires, you might as well go ahead and get 4, and that's really expensive. So, you have to be prepared for stuff like that. Also, I find that when you save, you're creating some type of financial goal, and having that goal helps you stay on track with what you have going on. So, and I tell people, do a small goal and then a large goal. The small goal could be to save $5 a month, right? $5 a month is $60 more at the end of the year than you had at the beginning of the year. The large goal could be saving for a new car, or saving for a vacation, or saving for a house, a down payment on a house, right? But when you're achieving those little goals, it helps you be encouraged as you're moving on that journey. Because when you get into your finances, that's like very personal. Like you feel naked to a certain degree. You have to talk about your finances, right? So being used to that and building that muscle when it comes to that, right? Investing is the game. The real game is investing, right? Because I didn't grow up with financial literacy either. My parents didn't teach me that. They told me to go work and save. That's as far as the conversation went, you know. But really, you need to be working, saving, and investing, so that when you're older, you don't have to continue to work for the rest of your life, especially with this particular economy. And the goal is to use your money to buy money, use your money to make money. So use your money to buy assets, right? That's what investing is. Because I tell people too, you do the hokey pokey, you turn yourself around, and it's time for retirement. And you missed it because you were so young, you was living your best life. And I dig it. I get it. I enjoy a good time as well. But we got to be prepared for when we get older and what that lifestyle looks like when you're older, because you're older, you're going to be tired. You ain't going to want to do all that anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that quick education there. And I have some more questions coming down the line after Cece asks hers. But you know what's interesting about this whole tire thing that you just mentioned? Yeah. With a person like me, just a quick fun fact about me, when I have a little extra, I actually invest in tires and put them in my garage. I don't know if anybody else does that, but that's because of that reason, because I do know how expensive they are. So I remember a couple of times, a couple of people, when they came to my house and they saw tires in my garage, they're like, "Yes, why do you have tires in your garage?" It's like, because you never know where you're going to need some tires, right? And they're expensive, right? And I love finding them on eBay. eBay is the best, like, search, looking for the reviews. So whoever needs some tires right now, filling you in, eBay, they got some good ones for a reasonable price. Look at the thread and you'll be good to go. Start stacking them up. Just saying.
Yeah. I'm putting that in my pocket.
Oh, wow. You're the first. Yeah. Now you're the first, like, stack up some tires in the garage and whatnot. Because aren't you concerned about, like, the tires kind of like dry rotting because they're sitting for long periods? Like,
well, not necessarily, because I don't buy them like for years. I buy them like when I understand like the thread is getting low to the point where eventually, let's say within the next 6 to 9 months, I'm going to need to rotate them, right? So just not like years in advance when they're sitting there, but just be realistic, like 3 to 6 to 9 months. Yeah. But it's about the thread count. So people need to know about the tires.
Talking about the tires, I took my car. My car is a classic, okay? My car is a 2004 little BMW. I love it. That's the last little body style BMW. You know, I'm a BMW girl, but I love my little car. And I was like, I'm going to ride it till the wheels fall off. Well, the wheels are falling off, okay? So go in and make some of those repairs, and I'm like, OMG. So there's some maintenance I got to get done, and I know it, but I've kept maintenance up with my car. That's why it's just every time I take it into any mechanic, everybody's always trying to buy my car because I keep it in really good condition. And so there's some stuff coming up because it's an old car, 2004. That's a pretty old car. It's a classic, y'all. It's a classic. And so, but yeah, I had to get some repairs done on the car and stuff today, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do a little bit right here because I want to be able to pay cash, and I want to put it on my credit card because we paid like off all of our credit cards except one, right? And that's what we like put our bills on, and then we're trying to like pay it completely off, and then we can put our bills on it and then pay it off every month, right? Because that's how you know when you're really managing credit correctly. It's like, because you have that money. A lot of people use credit cards as a buffer, and then they carry on these balances, and then you kind of get in trouble with that because it can really get out of control. I mean, I paid off in my younger year, right? My 20s and my 30s. I was like, I had credit card debt like $20,000, and I got to the point to where I did pay it off, but then I just re-racked it back up again. So it's like, so understanding interest rates is like very, very key in everything that you do, because they're making money off of you. So you definitely want to make money off of them. And then when you talked about the investing, that is key. Compound interest, right, is like the mother load. Okay, what I'm saying? And especially like, for your young kids and stuff, and you begin to start just investing 20, 50, $100, because little kids, they got like years, what I'm saying, to grow and stuff. They're making tons and tons of money. And I believe a lot of families, in our culture had that conversation like, yeah, work hard and save. But save how?
Right.
Oh, just put it in a savings account, which is not making you any
Right.
money, right? We
Right.
need to get into some
Right.
high yield accounts or some stocks, the things that we buy, the things that we understand. People think that you have to buy like a whole share of a stock, and that's not true. You can buy dollar amounts, right, of stock, right? You might only have $50, but you can continue to buy until you begin to own that entire stock. So talk a little bit about some, and maybe you want to share, I don't know, but talk about like some of the good stocks out there you think that people should, you know, invest in, you know, that's making money. I know tech right now is a big thing. One of the ones that we're, you know, investing in my own family. It's like the AMD, the NVIDIA, you know, of course the Teslas and, you know, Amazons and all that kind of stuff. But are there any other like stocks that maybe people can kind of come in on to try to like, you know, earn some extra cash?
Well, I would say, because I'm not a fiduciary. I'm not a financial advisor. Not yet anyway. But so what I would say is that for me, what I did is when I left Elon, I rolled my 401k into a Roth IRA, self-directed Roth IRA, and I invested the money into the stock market myself. Because a lot of people too don't even realize that their retirement is invested into the stock market. I don't know where they think it's going, but that's where your money's being invested, is in the stock market. So I did that. So that particular portfolio I use as a growth portfolio, and then I opened up an additional portfolio and I use that as a dividend portfolio. And I did that because I wanted to experiment, because this was all new to me. So I needed to see what it looks like to have a dividend performing portfolio, what it looks like to have a growth performing portfolio. My dividend performing portfolio is actually doing really well. It's actually doing better than my other portfolio. That one's doing good too. And how I like I said, I watch CNBC and I'm studying all the time, but really what helped me figure out which approach I wanted to do was ChatGPT. Like I said to ChatGPT, tell me the 10 top performing dividend stocks with the highest yield, and tell me how much they were performing in the red 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 1 month. And then tell me when the dividend comes, so I can be aware and create like a chart. And it gave me, I did that multiple times, so it gave me a bunch of them. I kind of narrowed them down based on the ones that I understood, the ones that I was familiar with, and then again, the ones that had the highest performing dividend yield. Because some of the dividend portfolio, the stock doesn't necessarily perform that well overall, but the dividend is really good, right? So inside of that portfolio, I have JP Morgan, I have Philip Morris, the cigarette company. I have MO, which is a tobacco-less company. I have a real estate company inside of there, and they're all doing pretty good within there. Actually, for dividends and for growth. Actually, within my growth portfolio, I have NVIDIA and AMD and stuff like that. But what I will say is I also have VOO, which is an ETF, which is essentially a combination of a bunch of different stocks all come together, which is good, because if one stock is not performing as well as the other stocks are there and they're good enough to bring everything up. And my ETF is actually doing really, really good. I have VOO and I have QQQ within that portfolio. So I would tell people starting out to look into ETFs really in the beginning. And when you look at the ETF, look at what's inside of the ETF, because each ETF is different. So VOO is the S&P 500, so it has all those companies in it. But QQQ is all technology companies, right? And it's ETFs for every sector. It's one for healthcare, it's one for energy, it's one for consumer discretionary, right? So whatever you feel comfortable with, look into those ETFs and start with that. The thing that I loved about the dividend portfolio is immediate income. So every quarter, one of them is every month. Like I'm getting a little bit of money in the account. It's not a lot because I'm building it up. I ain't got there yet. But it's still good to see it, because I think too, it's this phobia around stocks and the stock market and like, oh, it's not for us. No, the stock market's for everybody. That was just put out there so that we could be discouraged from it. But it's for us too, right? So seeing the dividends and seeing me getting that income every month, it's like, oh, it really works. Like I'm actually getting a little money from it. So I think it's encouraging when you have like a dividend performing stock. So yeah, I would say that. And just to throw it out there too, because I'm not teaching stocks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a guy named Wall Street Trapper. I love Wall Street Trapper. He teaches stocks online. And who else do I like? It's a woman named Terry. I forgot her last name, but she does really well with teaching too. So I always tell people to find people online and look at their stuff. And everybody ain't true, so you do need to do some research on them. But find people online and start, researching that, understanding that, so you can get into that. 'Cause that, again, that's part of the investment. That's the game. That's how these people are really making money. It's real estate, it's stocks, and it's businesses. That's where people are making money. Yeah.
I love it. I'm glad you mentioned QQQ and VOO because I have those in my portfolio. And
Yes.
Let's Win Financial, guys. We had him on the show, and he talks about all of that, and just a really good, team to kind of join to get. He's an educator, Sherwin Riley, and so Let's Win Financial. You guys can check him out too online with everything. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. You know what? Wall Street, the stock market, for those gamblers that are out there, that's where you should be gambling. Okay. Because it's all a gamble. You're gambling. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So if you like the gambling, instead of going to the casinos and stuff, start putting your money in the stock market and start playing that, because then you can make, some money. Those are people out there buying all these lottery tickets, hundreds and thousands of dollars. They're buying all these lottery tickets every week. Put your money in the stock, gamble that way, right? You'll have a better return on investment versus that lottery ticket that you're hoping that you're going to win.
Right.
Fantastic.
All right. Go back.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's a lot of great knowledge, food for thought. So thank you for sharing that amazing information. Now, this question is pertaining to entrepreneurship and growth. So what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who want to start a business, have that desire, right, but feel financially unprepared? Because, with a business, it requires money, right? So what would be some food for thought, some strategies that you would share with regards to that thought?
What I would say is in the beginning, and we actually had a slide about this in class, it's a large percentage. I want to say 78% of small businesses that are started are bootstrapped, meaning that they're self-financed. You have to find the money yourself. So even when you're strapped in the beginning, you have to get a plan to figure out how to get that money. Hold on a second, I apologize.
Wow, what amazing information. While she comes back. Oh, she's back. Okay,
yes,
great.
I'm back.
Okay.
Yes, I apologize. So what I would say is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, then do it. Like Nike, just do it, right? I think a lot of times people get analysis paralysis, and they study, and they're not necessarily making a move, but it's just like, you want to sell cakes? Hey, bake a cake and go sell it. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? And see if people like your cakes. They may not like your cakes. You like your cakes, but the people may not like your cakes. You don't know that. You know what I mean? Just do it. See if it works and see if you like it. That's another thing. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody, and that's okay too. You know what I'm saying? Because entrepreneurship is a daily grind. It takes time to build it up where it's consistently like an investment for you. So a lot of times people think in their head, oh, I'm gonna start a business and I'm just gonna be rich, in a week from the business. No, it doesn't work like that either. Being aware of that. And just do it. If you want to be an entrepreneur, whatever you want to do, just do it, is what I would say. And don't overthink it in the beginning either. You do need a business plan, or rather, you do need a plan of action. You do need a plan of action. So, if you want to cut grass, for instance, maybe the plan is, I'm gonna get 10 yards this week to cut the grass, right? And then as you do it and you're building it up and you realize that you like it, and you realize that people like you and your customer service, then let's talk about a business plan and getting that together and going to get a loan from the bank and getting all these proper equipment and all of that type of stuff. But in the beginning, you don't necessarily need that. And I think people think that too in the beginning. I got to get all these things in place. I got to have everything lined up before I can go. No, you don't. You just got to do it. You got to jump out there, jumping into the water. Know that you're going to float back to the top. It's going to be okay.
Awesome. Before we transition over to last minute words, Cece, did you have any follow-up questions for our guest today?
I mean, we can talk all night, you know what I'm saying? But I love it. I just love it because you really touched into so many areas of just life. You know what I'm saying? And this is vital information that you got to know this stuff. At some point, you're either going to experience experience it for yourselves, or the experience is going to be brought to you. So you're going to get it one way or the other, right? And so it's better that, we're going out and we're seeking and gathering the information and that stuff so we can be prepared, rather than having something happen and then you got to get prepared. You know what I'm saying? So this is just valuable or invaluable information. I'm so glad that you're on the show. Definitely have to have you back, because I'm like, we can just go on and on and on, right, with everything, because your entrepreneurial journey, with the events that you're planning, how you shifted, from the artist block and all of that kind of stuff. Like you made different transitions, and you being the COO and you being the CFO, those are pretty big positions in a company. So it's like you're wearing the many hats, and those make a difference, being, that whole, chief of operations. You got to make sure that things are flowing day to day, in and out, and that kind of thing. And it's a lot of work, and entrepreneurship is not easy. Because you're the one doing everything. Normally you're the CEO, the CFO, the COO, all the OOs. Okay. So it's like, okay, what have I got myself into? You got to make it happen. So I just want to just commend you on the amazing work that you're doing. I love the work with you and Operation Hope. You guys are out in the community, making sure that you're bringing this stuff to people that typically may not have access, and the courses, they were free, y'all. They were free at NC Works. There's one in the city near you. Every state has these, we call it NC Works here in North Carolina, but every state has an employment center for their state that's normally completely free. And you can go in there and you can get access to computers and classes like the class that I took, and so many great things. And even like when we took the course with the Operation Hope, they negotiate with other companies. And so Shopify was a company that we could go and get like a free, not free, but it's basically free, because it was like $6 for 6 months. So like $1 a month, right? And get an online store if you want to go into e-commerce and stuff like that. So there's like bonuses. It's worth your while to go out and check out the things that your state has to offer. And people like, Watricia going out to teach this information. So if you're here under the sound of my voice, right, for all the viewers and listeners out there, right, make sure that you guys go to, if you're here in North Carolina, go to NC Works, check out all the wonderful things that they have to offer the community, and take advantage of the stuff that's out there, because we can get information at our fingertips. You know what I'm saying? And so there's no reason, like you said, just do it. There's no reason to sit back and wait on these things. So just get up off your humps, okay? my hump. Okay, for you, right? But that's all right. We gonna get up off our humps, and we're gonna make it happen. But it has been a pleasure having you here. And so we definitely gotta have her back, Yessie. I love it.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I echo Cece's words. We definitely have to have you back for sure. We can talk for a long time, because there's still so many questions that I have. And I know, looking at Cece, I've been working and being around her for long enough, I know she has a ton of questions too. But because we are quickly approaching the end of the segment, we have to pivot over to our last minute word. And so how this pretty much looks like is an opportunity for you to remind people who you are, where they can find you, follow you, if they want to reach out to you to work with you, sign up to, to take one of your classes, anything. If you have let's say, for example, a quote that you want to share, inspirational words, that's pretty much what this portion of the segment is about. And so to get a feel for how that looks, I'm going to have Cece start us off. I'll have you go second, and then I'll close out with the last minute words.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, hey, I'm your girl, Sandra, the Actions with Inspire for Purpose and Girls with Gig. You can find me at www.inspireforpurpose or girlswithgigs.com. A personal professional development coach. So if you want to get something done, I'm your girl. My motto is to put it into action, because there's no time to wait. So as always, as I love to say, love and light and inspire for purpose.
Okay. So I'm Watricia Shuler. I am a financial well-being coach with Operation Hope, which is a nonprofit that teaches financial literacy and economic empowerment. What the financial well-being coach entails is I'm a credit money management coach, a small business coach. So with the credit money management piece, I help people build credit, reduce debt, create budgeting, create savings, things of that nature. With the business, I help people start, grow, and scale small businesses. I do one-on-one coaching, and then I also teach workshops about them within the community. And all of our services are free. So feel free to email me at my name, watricia.shuler@operationhope.org. Or you can always go to Operation Hope's website, which is www.operationhope.org, and you should be able to find me from that page as well. Or you can find a coach that's in your area, wherever you're located. We're a national organization. Our headquarters is in Atlanta, but we have coaches all over the United States. So we'll be able to help you in any capacity when it comes to that. And what I will say too is that, I mentioned earlier that I didn't get the financial literacy education as a kid, and a lot of people that I run into didn't get that information either. And even within the business, even within the world of business, what I've come to realize is that a lot of people who started businesses back in the day, like in particular my grandfather, he didn't do it out of a passion like me. He did it out of survival. That's all he could do, to make money to feed his family. So a lot of times the people who had those businesses in the past, they weren't thinking to build it up and make it these multi-million-dollar companies that we see online. They were just thinking to be able to have this nice business that can feed their family and stuff like that. So as you're beginning your journey of financial literacy, financial empowerment, or you're beginning your journey of entrepreneurship, give yourself grace on this journey. You don't know what you don't know. And the people who came before us gave us the best they could. They did the best they knew how. They told us what they knew. So you have to give them grace too within that journey. This is a daily commitment. You'll have good days and you have not so good days on this journey. But if you have a not so good day, it's all good. Go sit by the lake, have a word with God, get your thoughts together. Tomorrow when you wake up, recommit yourself back to the journey. Every day you're recommitting yourself back to the journey. So that's what I would say.
Wow, beautiful words. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before I say what I have to say, we actually have a few more sponsors to spotlight, so don't go anywhere. Hoy en Dia TV will be right back.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Hoy en Dia TV, Thursday, 7:30 p.m.
At Cab Zenza, we believe beauty is a ritual, not just a routine. Rooted in intention and inspired by nature, our skincare is crafted to nourish more than just the skin. It nourishes the spirit. Every jar is made with purpose. Because when you flourish inside, it shows on the outside. Cab Zenza's isn't skincare, soul care.
From the moment that I put this Cab Zenza on my skin, it feels most amazing. As you can see, it has your skin glistening, it's moisturizing. You too should get Cab Zenza.
Luxurious body butters.
Sponsored by Collective Wear. Available at www.yessierodriguez.com/shop and myrod-enterprise.com/shop.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to our sponsors. We really appreciate you. For those who want to be a sponsor on Hoy en Dia or even be a guest on Hoy en Dia TV, simply email hoyendiatv@gmail.com. And I just want to say thank you all to the viewers and listeners, and also to thank you, God, for allowing me to see another beautiful year. I'm here, I'm alive, I'm well, I'm healthy, I'm whole, and I am grateful for all the blessings and what's to come, right? Because there's so much more to come. So in honor of my birthday too, thank you. And in honor of Women's History Month, thank you to our special guests as well for being on here with us. And always to my amazing co-hosts, Dr. Cece, the Actionist, and Nadine Barton, Entrepreneur, who's here with us in spirit. She wasn't able to join us physically, but I feel her presence. She's here with us in spirit, right? And so with that in mind, for those who want to know more about me, find me, follow me. It's really simple. Just go on Google, Safari, Internet Explorer, Edge, whatever, and type in YESSE, Yessie Rodriguez, and voila, I pull right up. You can find a little bit about me, find my website, social medias, etc. So, and also, I do also offer one-on-one coaching. So if you want to get more serious with your acting modeling, reach out to me through the website, yessierodriguez.com. There is an inquiry form, or you can just reach out to me via email, yessie@yessie.com. That's because we got a lot going on. There's so much more in store in 2026. So thank you all for another beautiful